One of the jobs of the Economic Research Service of the U.S. Department of Agriculture is to keep track of calories consumed by Americans. The average American gets an amazing 64% of their calories from processed foods, primarily added fats and sugars and refined wheat, 23% of their calories from animal foods, and only 13% of calories from whole plant foods. Based on USDA data, foods in the standard American diet can be divided into 10 categories. 4 processed foods to be avoided: added fats and oils, primarily salad and cooking oils and shortening; refined grains, primarily refined wheat flour; added sugar, primarily cane and beet sugar and corn sweeteners; and processed meats, such as bacon, sausage, hot dogs, and lunch meats. 2 animal foods to be eaten in moderation, if at all, meat and dairy; and 4 plant foods to be eaten abundantly: fruit, vegetables, nuts and seeds, and whole grains. Refined fats, what the USDA calls added fats and oils, are the leading source of calories in the standard American diet. Added fats and oils include calories from French fries, fried chicken, corn and potato chips, donuts and pastries, breads, butter, bagels, rolls and biscuits, cakes, pies, muffins, cookies, and salad dressings. It's important to note that fat is not all bad. Adequate fat is essential in the human diet. The World Health Organization recommends that 15 to 30% of total calories should come from fat, 10 to 15% from protein, and the balance from carbohydrates. Getting fats from nuts, seeds, and avocados is often the healthier, higher fiber choice than obtaining fats from deep fat fryers, baked goods, and salad dressing oils. Grains, what the USDA calls flour and cereal products, are the second leading source of calories in the American diet. In 1880, the U.S. Patent Office awarded John Stevens of Wisconsin a patent for a roller milling process that allowed the germ and bran in wheat to be efficiently removed. The process made flour more affordable and extended shelf life, but also removed much of the fiber and nutrition in the wheat. The most common American grain product by far is wheat, followed by corn and oats. Foods often made with refined grains include bread, dinner rolls, and biscuits; pasta such as spaghetti; breakfast cereals; pizza and other mixed dishes such as hamburgers, sandwiches, and tacos; cakes, cookies, pastries, donuts, and muffins; white rice and other refined grains; and snack foods such as pretzels and corn chips. Today, 88% of wheat in America is refined. Only 12% is eaten whole. Removing the fiber and nutrients from grains is a serious health concern, because fiber helps you feel full longer and may reduce the risk of obesity, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease. A 2016 meta-analysis of 45 studies in the British Medical Journal found a significant correlation between whole grain consumption and a reduced risk of cardiovascular disease, cancer, and all-cause mortality. But there was little evidence of an association with refined grains or white rice. The authors recommended choosing whole grains rather than refined. Refined sugar, what the USDA calls added sugar and sweeteners, makes up about 15% of the American diet. Nearly half of sugar calories come from sweetened beverages such as soft drinks, fruit drinks, sweetened coffee and tea, milkshakes, energy drinks, and alcoholic beverages. About 30% of sugar calories come from sweets such as cakes, pies, cookies, donuts, brownies, and sweet rolls, ice cream, pudding, and yogurt, candies, jams, syrups, sweet toppings, and table sugar. A large portion of sugar also comes from sugar added to foods such as breakfast cereals, spaghetti sauce, ketchup, salad dressing, barbecue sauce, fruit juices, canned fruit, granola bars, baked beans, and crackers. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says that Americans are eating and drinking too much added sugars, which can lead to health problems such as weight gain and obesity, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease. Like refined fats and oils and refined flour, refined sugar is a modern innovation that played no role in the diet of early humans. Processed meats are meats preserved by curing, salting, fermenting, or smoking, or the addition of chemical preservatives. 22% of meats eaten by Americans are processed meats. Examples of processed meats include bacon, ham, beef jerky, and hot dogs, salami and liverwurst, pepperoni, lunch meats, and sausages such as bratwurst. There is evidence that eating patterns that include lower intake of meats, including processed meats and processed poultry, are associated with reduced risk of obesity, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and some types of cancer. Beef and chicken in nearly equal amounts make up the majority of American meat calories, with pork, eggs, turkey, and fish comprising most of the remainder. Dr. Michael Greger, author of the bestseller How Not to Die and hundreds of short videos available at nutritionfacts.org, makes a convincing case for a meat-free diet, writing, "People who eat fewer animal products have lower rates of obesity, dementia, arthritis, high blood pressure, kidney disease, gallstones, hemorrhoids, constipation, diverticulosis, and appendicitis. Meat-free diets are even being used to reverse chronic diseases, opening clogged arteries, curing type 2 diabetes, and alleviating obesity." He goes on to say that California Adventist vegetarians live up to 10 years longer than the average American and enjoy lower rates of heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and certain cancers. On the other hand, both a 2004 and a 2012 meta-analysis found that fish consumption may have a beneficial effect on the prevention of coronary heart disease mortality. So there may be a place for some meat in an optimal diet. Plant sources provide good alternatives to meat for fats and protein. Sources of healthy fats include walnuts, almonds, ground flaxseed, chia seeds, sunflower seeds, and avocados. Some good sources of protein include beans, lentils, green peas, broccoli, kale, and oatmeal. Cheese and milk in roughly equal amounts make up the great majority of dairy products eaten by Americans, with ice cream and yogurt making up a smaller portion. Most cheese is consumed as part of other dishes such as pizza, burgers, tacos, and sandwiches. Most milk is consumed as a beverage or on breakfast cereals. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition finds that osteoporotic bone fracture rates are highest in countries that consume the most dairy, calcium, and animal protein. There is evidence that a high-protein diet may cause calcium to be excreted in the urine. The study concludes that bones are better served by increasing fruit and vegetable intakes, limiting animal protein, exercising regularly, getting adequate sunshine or supplemental vitamin D, and getting adequate calcium from plant sources. The most popular American fruits, including 100% fruit juices, by number of calories consumed are oranges, apples, bananas, grapes, avocados, pineapples, strawberries, and pears. A 2014 meta-analysis in the British Medical Journal of 16 studies with over 833,000 participants found that each daily serving of fruit or vegetables reduced the risk of early death by 5%, up to a threshold of 5 servings. The study concluded that higher consumption of fruit and vegetables is associated with a lower risk of all-cause mortality, particularly cardiovascular mortality. Examples of vegetables include kale, tomatoes, and broccoli, carrots, black and white beans and green peas, red onions, red cabbage, mushrooms, and garlic. A large meta-analysis of 95 previous studies on fruit and vegetable intake and mortality, published in 2017 in the International Journal of Epidemiology, found a significant correlation between fruit and vegetable intake and the prevention of cardiovascular disease, cancer, and premature mortality. 10 servings per day were found correlated with significant additional risk reduction compared to the 5 servings per day recommended by many health agencies. Apples and pears, citrus fruits, green leafy vegetables, cruciferous vegetables, and salads had the highest correlation for prevention of cardiovascular disease and all-cause mortality. Green and yellow vegetables and cruciferous vegetables had the highest correlation for reducing cancer risk. Popular American nuts and seeds include almonds, hazelnuts, pistachios, and walnuts, chia seeds, ground flaxseed, pumpkin seeds, and sunflower seeds. A diet that includes nuts is recommended by the American Heart Association, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and the World Health Organization. Studies in leading nutrition journals have found that nut consumption is associated with a reduced risk of early death. One study, based on 7 prior studies, found that daily nut consumption was associated with a 27% decreased risk of all-cause mortality. Popular American whole grains include oatmeal and bran cereals, whole grain breads and pastas, brown and wild rice, and corn and popcorn. Whole grains provide much more fiber and nutrition than refined grains, which have had their bran and germ removed. According to the American Heart Association, the dietary fiber in whole grains may lower the risk of heart disease, stroke, obesity, and type 2 diabetes, and may help with weight loss by making you feel full. The World Health Organization has found convincing evidence that dietary fiber reduces obesity, and probable evidence that it reduces type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease. A 2014 meta-analysis in the American Journal of Epidemiology found an 11% decrease in mortality for each 10-gram increase in daily dietary fiber, with cereal fiber showing a stronger association than vegetable or fruit fiber. A plant-based diet of predominantly whole plant foods stands in sharp contrast to the standard American diet of predominantly processed foods. Plant foods, fruit, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and whole grains, contain fiber. Fiber slows the digestive process and provides a feeling of fullness that makes weight loss and weight loss maintenance much easier. Processed foods have little or no fiber. Added fats and oils have no fiber. Added sugars have no fiber. Refined grains have little fiber. Surprisingly, animal foods, both meat and dairy, have no fiber. Without adequate fiber, losing weight and maintaining normal weight is difficult. Epidemics of obesity and diabetes have followed the adoption of a Western pattern diet of low-fiber processed foods in the United States and other countries. The standard American diet may contribute to the prevalence of obesity, type 2 diabetes, and many other chronic diseases. Prior to the 1900s, added fats and oils, refined grains, and added sugars played a very minor role in the human diet. The standard American diet is a radical departure from the diet of whole, unprocessed foods that humans have eaten for millions of years. According to Reference.com, the earliest humans ate a diet similar to that of apes and chimpanzees, consisting mostly of fruit and leaves. Refined fats, oils, grains, and sugars are modern innovations that have greatly reduced the fiber and other nutrients in the human diet. Millions of people would like to lose weight and adopt a healthy diet, yet the majority of diets fail to achieve sustained long-term weight loss. Why do diets fail? First, many people eat the wrong foods. The USDA has documented that the average American eats a diet of predominantly processed foods that are very low in fiber. Yet when a random sample of 3,000 Americans was asked in 2016, how healthy would you consider your eating habits to be, 41% answered excellent or very good, 34% answered good, and only 25% answered fair or poor. Apparently, a large majority of Americans think a diet with most calories from added fats and sugars and refined grains is a good, very good, or excellent diet. Continuing to eat low-fiber processed foods but trying to eat less is not a sustainable way to lose weight. For healthy permanent weight loss, processed food should be replaced with healthy whole foods.